Welcome back to the Ruby Tuesday. My name's Ruben. You can call me Ruben because that's my name. Let's get into this new Netflix original movie called Paradise. After his wife is forced to give up 40 years of her life as payment for an insurance debt, a man desperately searches for a way to get them back. Now, we'll be talking about the ending, a sort of ending explained at the end, but for now, this is just a review. So this film runs at about 2 hours, and I have to say, I did feel the time in the midway point when this film gets to the crutch of trying to explain what's going on and what's happening with our characters now. That's when I felt the time. But for the most part, this plays very classic three-tiered, introducing us to the world and the story, the futuristic noir story that there is, the cyber world that's kind of post-apocalyptic in a way. People are, we've seen films like this, like even Time, where you can take time.
Where's the rest?
Never met the quota.
My units are up from last week.
So is the quota.
As payment for maybe you can get out of debt, or you can give time for whatever if you're a match to someone. And this is the classic story of when humans shouldn't have the power to play God because we'll always do the worst thing possible. This is that story. So that first part of the film kind of shows us what that looks like, and then we get to the middle where the things go wrong, and we have this journey that is a capture journey and also an escape journey, and our two main protagonists, husband and wife, are trying to get back the years stolen from her, basically. And in amongst that, there's this kind of political theme. There's a political story and agenda. One group of people say this is great. It's normally the people that earn lots of money, or those that are compatible to this new technology. And the other side is this, we should never been able to play God. And those are activists. And that is like intertwining into that story, and all comes to a big crux at the end. I really like the idea of this movie as it starts out, as we are introduced to our loving husband and wife. You know shit's gonna hit the fan because it does fairly quickly. It becomes a sort of thriller, but also one of those that plays at whether you should do this. So it brings up the moral complications, and while you're watching this, you'll probably be asking yourself, what would I do? How far would you go if you could? If someone stole 40 years of your child's life, how far would you go to get it back? And even if it's not stealing, if it's taken, even if it's lawful, what would you do to get that back? There's all these moral implications that I think it gets you to ask as you're watching it. Now, it does threaten to become a sort of classic action ending, but thankfully they pull that back a little bit and get us again asking those questions. I think the acting for the most part is pretty good. I really like our two leads, especially when they're starting to change the age. So we have Numa Akar as Victor, and I think he plays his sort of henchman guy well, because he has great presence. Would have liked to see more of him. We don't get a lot of him, but what we do have of him, I think he's very good on screen. Very famous actor also, Lucas Lingard Tonneson. We have very short amount of time with him on screen, so don't expect to see that actor for a lot in this movie. Aesthetically, the looks of it is a very realistic, lived-in world. The technology that is slightly futuristic is believable. So cars have these visors that kind of show where to go. We're starting to come into that sort of technology. It's slightly more advanced than what we have, but the technology is here and now. So everything feels like it's a world that probably will come to be, even if it's a bit bleak. So the realistic, aesthetically looking environments that we are shown in the film makes you kind of believe that this is where we're going, this is what could happen. If we ever find ourselves in the realm of having this sort of technology where we can take people's life, literally their years, for payment, we would go down this route. So it puts you in the shoes and helps you understand the moral implications of it. At the same time, you don't know where you would fall because you couldn't really know for sure what you would do. You probably wouldn't want to take someone else's life away, but at the chance of the immortality kind of question that's always there, we're searching ways for us to explore how to live longer, because time is the most precious commodity that we have in our life. Even people, wanting to, when they die, put themselves in cryogenic, even though we don't have the technology to bring us back now, they're hoping that in 100 years' time we might. That's the sort of thing that all the complications of the themes that this film explores, and I think it does a fairly good job. It just outstays its welcome and threatens to go down the action plot part, and that's okay because we need a bit of action for this. I like the story somewhat, but I just felt like It teetered off and tried to go too many places without actually sticking the landing. So it was fine as a one-time watch, but I don't know that I would ever go back and watch it. That doesn't mean it's not a good film. It's better than some of the average ones we've seen in this type of genre, and it looks great, it's acted well. So let me know if you're going to check this out. I'd give it a 3 Nicolas Cages out of 5.
And you got one. Congratulations.
I'm going to talk about the ending now.
Explain yourself.
It was interesting to me that the juxtaposition change of husband and wife, she's decided after all her moral implications of saying, I don't want to be a part of this is wrong. She does like a 180 about turn and decides that she's going to take the young girl that she now knows isn't the woman that stole her life, but the daughter of that person. Takes her life. And then we see the daughter who knows that her mother's a match, but the mother doesn't give up her time because she's just that evil. We've established that she will do everything to live longer. So they're going to still try and find her another match, but as far as we can tell, those matches are very rare. So the fact that she's only found 1 up until now, or 2 with this other woman, leads us to think that might happen someday, but what's to say that a mother won't use it again for herself? So we're shown the type of people that have this sort of power or continue wanting that sort of power or that longevity even over their own family. And then we see the husband who's now become, I would say, the leader of the rebels who are trying to stop this. We have that one moment where husband sees ex-wife now with a new partner. She kind of moved on fairly quickly, and it's that look of knowing, so you were this person always. And it just goes to show you can never really tell. I mean, you can spend a lot of time with a person, but there's always some parts of that person you won't know until you see them in new situations and you see how they react. Probably not always what you want them to do. So far as I can say, where it goes in the ending is they're still fighting, nothing's been resolved really, and we've just seen true human nature with this sort of power evolve into what probably would be, unfortunately. We like to create things and use it for good, and then we always establish doing the thing for its worst, like the atom bomb. So let me know what you thought about this movie. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. Thanks so much for watching, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.